You know, he's having a bad day.
Yeah.
Having a really bad day.
Really bad day.
A bloody bad day.
Hey.
Nice.
What's so funny?
I had such a freaking blast with this movie.
Right.
I keep telling people, like, you know, at the end of Ready or Not, where it's so shocking that you start laughing.
Right.
Yeah.
This entire movie.
They wanted to do that for an entire film, I think. You know,
Yeah.
just sort of shock people, but also make people laugh. a
You're
lot.
so uncomfortable that you giggle kind of thing. I
Fun
do that when
comfortable.
I'm nervous.
Yes.
You know? It's like that kind of movie.
My friend and I were doing that the entire movie. So what was the selling point? What was the hook for you on a movie like this? Is it ballerina vampire, radio silence, blood cannons, all of the above?
It's Matt and Tyler, radio silence.
Definitely.
I wanted to play my role. It was a great role. But it was Matt and Tyler that sold it.
I didn't know about the blood cannons until we were on the set, and there was a lot of blood.
It's like, I thought I was doing a heist movie. Why are there blood cannons?
A lot of blood.
There has to be. There has to be.
Are they like, bring out the blood cannons?
Kind of.
Pretty much. It was a real event. And it was
is a
very
real
often
event.
a kind of one-take situation, or certainly a very long, arduous reset. If
There's a revenance for it. You know, we all know it's coming.
Yeah.
Everyone's protected with plastic who's not in the scene. They invite you to stay if you're not in the scene.
Yeah, and as the movie goes on, the explosions got bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more blood, and until the final explosion day. Were you?
No.
We were there for that day, but anyway, huge event.
You were there.
The whole crew were kind of standing around in that
There's
library
applause.
set, and yeah, it was epic.
I would have, well, I'm not an actor, so that's probably why, but I would have a hard time not flinching before the cannons went off.
Yes, yeah.
You don't really know when it's going to happen. Like, that's how you
mean-
get that real, authentic, you know, acting. It's not acting.
This one is such a force in this movie.
Pretty amazing.
She is amazing.
Incredible. It was very funny, also a little bit scary. She was loving it though. She was loving how freaky I think she was, and I was just constantly floored by her talents.
She was just so cute, though. Like, one time she had on her full vamp, like, tutu and fangs and everything, and she was sitting outside on this bench, and I'm like, she's the most cute, like, thing I ever saw. So
Yeah.
lots of pictures were taken of her in positions where she's supposed to be violent, but I just think it, you know, if you met her, we were just eating chicken tenders. She ate chicken tenders every day.
Does she have the teeth in, or should she take them out?
I think she took them out.
Took them out for the chicken tenders. I do have a great picture of Melissa and myself and Alicia completely covered in blood
And just
outside,
teeth.
just like smiling like
Yeah.
it's first day at school, and mum and dad are so proud, but we're completely covered in gore.
Oh, I love it. I mean, Dan, I always love your characters because you're so dang likable. And I was trying this the whole time. I was like, I want to like this guy, but he's such a jerk.
You shouldn't like
He's
me.
pretty funny,
I was
though.
trying to make him as unlikable as possible.
He's pretty unlikable. He's a little
Yeah.
funny. The onions line really sent me.
Right, well that's her fault.
Thank you.
It was really fun to kind of calibrate him according to what everyone else was doing and kind of really play into the ensemble and just how annoyed Frank was by every single member of the team in some way, particularly Sammy, particularly Joey. I think, you know, just as the movie goes on, you know, he just gets more and more irate and, you know, he's having a bad day.
Yeah.
Having a really bad day.
Really bad day.
A bloody bad day.
Hey.
Nice.
Kathryn, you mentioned you just really wanted to play this character. What was your favorite thing about Sammy?
Her transition is pretty exciting. As an actor, you don't know what that's going to be like. And I love being a part of the horror genre space and the fandom. And I felt like I just wanted to give the fans something to talk about.
I was gonna say, last time I talked to you was for Lisa Frankenstein. I love Freaky. Now you're in the vampire world. How do you feel about the title of Scream Queen?
I love that title. I love it. Are you kidding? It's pretty cool.
You got a good scream.
Queen of anything is pretty cool.
Queen of anything.
And there's a big group of us, and I think it's a good place to be in. And I'd like to do a movie with all the Scream Queens, all the way from like Halloween. You know, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. Let's get them all together and like, I don't know, take a photo.
I love that. I love that. Did you have something next on your wish list? I mean, vampires, Frankenstein?
I'd like to go do more Frankenstein, more vampire. Let's double down on the vampire.
Double down on the vampire. And I mean, let's talk about the scene where you're crawling out of the body pit really quick.
Okay.
So gross, so well done.
There's this cool moment where I had to go under before they say action, and they have to wait for me to go under and all the bubbles to stop bubbling up to the surface before I break out of the ocean again.
Right.
That was
Ocean.
every time you do that. Have you ever
Ocean of bodies.
like
Gross.
the ocean of bodies? It's like that moment, like I look at the camera, like, here I go. You just like go down into it. So that one. You volunteer. It's
Right.
a volunteer thing, and I wanted to do that, and I loved it. I think I don't realize what I get myself into when I say yes to movies. I had no idea. You think about it, you talk about it. They showed me the pool. They're like, this is where it's going to be. I'm like, cool. Then we get there on the day. I was speechless. It took my breath away, and the kind where you're scared. It was scary. It was genuinely, those bodies looked real. It was gross. There was hair in there.
It's like gooey.
Girl.
You guys really spend this movie covered in substance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Proudly.
Proudly.
A lot of banana.
Dan, I mentioned loving so many.
Like, what? Yeah, a lot of banana.
I mentioned loving your characters. Eurovision 2 when?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
What do you need me to do personally?
You need
I wanna
to
be in it.
talk to Netflix and Will Ferrell and just put in a good word.
I want to be in that
Yeah.
I
movie.
feel like with my job, I could
You could
make
probably
that
swim.
happen. I could talk to those. Might
Get
talk
some
to
good
those people.
outfits.
What was your favorite vampire rules in this movie? Because, I mean, your character mentions, like, there's different ones. It's like, hey, we're talking about True Blood vampires, Twilight vampires.
True Blood's so good.
It is good.
Our
Rule.
particular vampire
Yeah.
world. I think
Ooh.
it made me laugh that our particular vampires seemed, when they are turned, just seem to become more of an asshole.
Yes.
Like whatever it is, just like turns up the in people and they just become real vampires.
Definitely, that's the best part.
It's hard to know what to spoil and what not to. There will be blood.
There will be lots of blood.
There will be
and
fangs
teeth.
and blood.
There will be blood and teeth.
And mushed banana in Kathryn
Kathryn's
Newton's
hair.
hair.
Mush banana in Catherine's hair.
And dancing, actually. Little do you know.
It's got it all.
It's such a freaking fun movie. I would say if you go back into the house, do you think constantly splitting up was a good idea?
No. Like,
Never works.
absolutely not. Like, we know it. You're watching this movie, you're screaming
what
at the
Scooby-Doo are they
screen.
doing here?
Yeah, no, it's one of those films where you're like, you're an idiot. Very dumb. But every horror film has that, right?
Yes.
You gotta go back in the house.
Yes.
We couldn't get out of the house.
You couldn't.
There was nowhere to go.
There was nowhere to go.